Okay, guys, I had a little problem with my flow switch, either coming on and not turning off, or not coming on at all, or working properly. So I decided to go ahead and replace it. I had an extra one laying around, so it took me about a half hour, replaced it, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to tear this one apart, see if I actually rebuildable, what happens. And what does happen is I took those 5 screws out, set them over on the side. What you have is a little magnet. Inside here is called a shuttle assembly, and this goes back and forth. This here is your switch to activate your burner on your Northstar. And what happens is inside is a little plunger, that little thing right there. And when it works properly, as it does now, if you push it in, it comes back. Push it in, it comes back. You can hear it. This little switch here, and if you can see it real, see if I can get a good kind of, you can see it. It actually moves just a little bit. And that's all it takes to activate that burner. Well, what happens is, let's see, I'll take this thing out. This little sucker right here, when you guys start to take this, it'll find any piece of metal laying on your bench, screws, screwdriver, whatever. So set that thing off on the side. That's why it's kind of nice to have one of these things. Take this off, okay, and I'll set this other part over on the side. Okay, now inside here, like I said, that's your assembly. There's your little, you can hear it. When it's working properly, everything's cleaned out. It should be nice and free inside. So anyway, what you do is you take this side off. Now I've already took the liberty of doing that. It takes a 7/8 inch wrench. Put that off on the side. Inside there's your assembly, shuttle assembly. Okay. Now this is it here. Now what happens is inside here, even though it still looks a little dark or whatnot, it's a heck of a lot cleaner than it was. But inside you can get some gunk on this piece. This was kind of yicky. This is the piece that needs to slide back and forth inside here. It goes back and forth inside here. And it should be clean. There shouldn't be any debris. And if you get anything in there, makes this thing stick, and then you've got issues. So what I've done is there's a magnet. Here's that little magnet here, okay? And make sure you got everything off it. See, there's a little something right there. And anything metal will just attach to it. This here, though, has to go in a certain direction. So I made a little mark right there. Matter of fact, I'll do another one just to show you. A little mark. That's the one that was on top. Okay. If you take that little magnet I showed you that wants to go everywhere on your workbench, okay, and if you can set them up to where they touch, oh my gosh, they're strong, okay. So right here, boom, they'll want to go together, okay. But if you flip one, okay, and try to put them together, you know, they fight each other. They're fighting each other, okay. They don't want to come together. So the importance of that is inside this little switch, okay, there's another magnet. You want this to fight that magnet. So in other words, when the slide goes over it, it pushes down on that and activates that switch. So this little magnet here, okay, needs to go in this pocket. You got to clean that pocket out, make sure there's no gunk and stuff in there. Okay, make sure it goes in that pocket the correct way. If you flip it over, it won't work. It doesn't work. So now that you have this in the right position, it's all set, ready to go. Make sure you got it all cleaned out. Put this back in the pocket. Now, I'd recommend using something plastic that won't have any kind of magnetic, because if you mess it up, and it just popped in there, you'll mess that magnet up and stuff. So just use something like a picker. Okay, take care of this. You get there's a little O-ring washer inside there. It should be good to go. You know, if it's leaking, that's where you know that what's leaking, the low ring. And make sure this is tight. Now again, take 2 7/8" wrenches, tighten this up. You can actually tighten it up to the point where they're actually even, these marks, okay? Now the other thing is, made liberty of making a mark here. And what I've done with that mark is it will go on the bottom. Okay, there's a flow, there's an indicator on here as far as flow. I know it's there. There it is right there. Okay, and then your flow also on this here. Okay, so they both have to go the same direction. Okay, so if you put them in that little mark I put here, okay, it's just so that it indicates, that little mark indicates the bottom of those 3 pieces as you slid it in, the bottom part, and that part goes towards the towards the switch. So when this thing goes back and forth, it doesn't pop out of that little cup that it was in. Okay, and then this little magnet, it's going to want to find its home back there, and that's it. Now, again, you should be able to take this, slide it in. It wants to pop back. Slide it in, pop back, and again, that's going to activate that little. That's it. That's all it does. That's all it takes. That magnet stays there. Put this back together. Okay, just put the screws in, you're good to go. But what happens is you get some debris or something in there. The other thing I did is I relocated my flow switch. It was really close to the burner and got hot. I imagine a lot of the settlement, or not settlement, but a lot of the crap and stuff that you get from the heater and stuff may have backflowed come back into it a little bit or whatnot. But nevertheless, I relocated it over by the water pump now, so it should be a lot better. But again, there you go on your switch. Your switch is good to go, and you're back in business. So put the 5 screws back in, and you're all set. All right, guys. Any questions, comments? Feel free to post them. I asked Ben about it. He says, please do put it on there. Put a video. So there you go, guys. There you go. Later, guys. Bye.